that projection that creates a limitation because it's superimposed from yourself onto others or other people onto you, it just takes so much awareness. And I think that that goes to show just like you're a powerhouse woman who has sovereignty. And what sovereignty means is independence of thought, feelings, behavior, and just who you are as a spirit.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Delusional. I am your host, Michelle Coyle, and I am here with my good friend, Bijal Patel. Bijal, please introduce yourself.
Hey, so excited to be here. I am the brains behind the Delusional brand. So nice to meet you guys.
That is absolutely right. And I want to talk with you all about how we came up with this amazing brand together. Bijal, by the way, is a brand strategist extraordinaire. And I do a lot of brand work too for my own clients, right? I
Hmm.
didn't know that, but like when it was time to up level this brand, I was like, okay, I need outside eyes, right? I'm a big fan of like coaches need coaches, consultants need consultant, right? Like we can't even see our own shit sometimes or what's right in front
Hmm.
of us. Is that your experience too?
Absolutely. And I love that I operate in the same mentality that you do. And when you're really good at what you do, it actually makes it even harder to see yourself. And so, like, I've seen you help people over the years, and like, you've got the profound ability to see someone else's future potential. But it's that just age old, like you can't read the label from inside the bottle. So it's more fun working with people like you who already have an idea about how branding works and why it's so important because it just ends up catalyzing the fire. That's how we landed on the delusional branch. Like it was iron sharpening iron, and that's how we landed here.
And we have so much fun when we work together too. By the way, I want to point out for anybody that's actually watching this on YouTube, Bijal is wearing yellow because that is the delusional brand accent color, and that is what a brand nerd she is, which is why I hear so much. And so I paid you a big chunk of money, came out to your house in Houston. We did a VIP day, and
Hmm.
we just kind of jammed out. And it was about halfway through the day that we came up with this delusional idea. Do you want to talk about a little bit about your process?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things I think that was so unique about our process is that we map the end goal of your VIP day based on what you need. So it is like instead of just here's our brand VIP day, this is we do a little bit of this, we do a little bit of that, and we're done. We map it back to like what are your actual goals. And so Michelle, where you were at is like multiple successful serial entrepreneurial, and I want to write the word successful in there. You've been doing this for a really long time. So, like, the history was there. You knew what you were doing. You had lots of different brands and you were content with that map. And you were at kind of an intersection of like, I want to hear what is next coming out of me, but I'm also not going to abandon all my grandchildren behind me. And I loved that as that is the end point of what we were working towards. So we just did our typical process, which is to get you to fill out a brand 360, get to know all the children, the grandchildren, your story, what lights you up and pumps you up, who your favorite clients are, and what you don't want to do anymore. And start to see how do all of these pieces come together so that we're creating a bigger and bigger brand empire for you where everything makes sense. So that's the first step of our process. And then we just had you fly out and we spend some time reviewing it together and spending time, what I call it in the pit. Like you got to spend time in the sand pit together and you have to just be able to be in each other's energy. And I think that's a lot of what I remember being really special is just like sitting down on a sofa, having our laptops open, and then just being in each other's energy fields. We talked about the shadow side. We talked about some of the trauma. We got in our feelings. And then naturally, as a part of that process, our energies entangled and we started to dance. So that's how I saw it happening. I'm curious what the experience was for you, though.
No, that's exactly right. You know, I came in knowing that I had been podcasting before. So for people who were following before, we had a podcast called Seekers and Shifters. It was a really cool podcast and the content was amazing. And I would listen back to it. And my first clue is if I even want to listen back to a conversation I already had and hear my own voice again, like I know it's really good. You know?
That is so
I was
true.
listening to it and I was like, oh man, this is really good, but it's just not getting the traction I want. And being a brand nerd myself was like, okay, the brand is not there for Seekers and Shifters. It made sense in my head, but it was rushed out. It
Hmm.
was, it's just trying to do the entrepreneurial thing of like, get it out, fix it later, like prove the concept. I felt like we had proven the concept on the content and like, oh, can Michelle make a good podcast with all the cool people she knows? Concept. Yes. 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 Michelle can. But we needed to up level the brand. And I was like, okay, Bijal, I've got something. I'm on to something here. Like I've got something
Hmm.
good, but it's only as good as like the eyeballs it's getting or the ears it's getting. And
Hmm.
I need a brand that's going to break through the noise, which these days is harder to do than when I first started 10
Hmm.
years ago, right?
Hmm.
Doing any of
Hmm.
this kind of online marketing coaching stuff, it was a little bit novel in and of itself. Now it's not novel. The market got
Hmm.
flooded completely around 2020.
Yep.
And now it's like, okay, you got to really come out strong if you want to cut through noise and make an impression. And I mean, the other thing is, we had this VIP day in February, right? We are now
Hmm.
recording in August, 6 months later. This
Hmm.
podcast just launched last week. I sat with this for like 6 months. Like as soon as you said delusional in our session, I was like, that's the brand. We have it. We both,
Yep.
you remember we both did. We were both like, that's it. Like we
We
had,
were
like,
screaming.
we were like jumping up and down, like, that's it,
We were
delusional.
screaming.
And we were ideating on all the iterations of delusional and getting really excited. And I still wanted to sit, make sure that I had professional designers to really get the look of it right, the feel of it. Like I knew I was like, okay, I've got a shot to really come out strong with this. And
Hmm.
it's working. Like this is we just launched last week, as of this recording. That people will be hearing this maybe in a month from now. But we had one video get 3,000 views last week. We just got
Yes.
1,000 downloads on audio. Like so, it's going in a way that the last one didn't, and it's the brand that makes the difference. Vijay, do you
Yeah.
want to talk about? I know you could talk for like 7 hours about this, but can you give us a quick synopsis of why is brand so important?
That's such a great question. And it's the reason that brand is so important in like a nutshell is brand is an association to something else. And I know that sounds really, really simple, but I'll give an example. So if you love Starbucks, like I have one in front of me. Like it's just like I don't ever not have a Starbucks in front of me. It's like I would have felt naked without it. And like, look, I got a little happy face. It's I have a relationship with Starbucks that's very positive. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have sub relationships with different locations. So at different locations, I then have a relationship. And then on another level, I then have the associations and relationships with the actual barista. So, like, I know some of their entire histories. So, I go there every morning and I associate myself to that. And so, let's say you're a fan of Tesla, or let's say you're a fan of Apple, like a lot of people are. Or maybe you're a kid and you're obsessed with, Minecraft. You're like obsessed with that, or Roblox, like my kid is. It's you get really excited about your association with a certain brand. Like there's a reason Taylor Swift, I mean, listen, I'm a Swiftie, okay? But like she's just selling out stuff left and right because I don't just love Taylor Swift's songs. I do like other people's songs. I like the woman that Taylor Swift has stood up to in the music industry that would have otherwise pummeled a woman like her. And she was like, yeah, no, thank you. I'm going to buy back all the rights to my music and I'm owning all of this. So when I think people hear the word delusional, which I would say, Michelle, is your apex salient characteristic. And that is why it felt amazing because in that moment when we were birthing this idea together, and I think we should talk about that and
Yeah.
help drive home why brand matters is that in that moment, we hit that like hit in the stomach feeling of the millions of times you were told you were too much,
Mm-hmm.
too loud,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Michelle,
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of things, moving too fast,
Mm-hmm.
and your dreams were quote unquote too big for your bridges.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to stop and feel the pain of that and realize, like, that's where your brand is. Your magic is right on that side of the pain.
Oh, I love that. That's a put that on a t-shirt. Your magic is right on the other side of the pain.
Hmm.
Beautiful and true. And yeah, we were talking about all of the like crazy shit that I've done in my life to get to where I am. And we were also talking about the kind of people that I want to work with.
Hmm.
And what I told you was I love working with people that are a little bit crazy, very ambitious, have big dreams. And then I can go in there and I love a blank whiteboard beach. Like I love a whiteboard and a marker. And like we just go in there and we just make a plan. We're like, okay, let me take all the crazy and let's kind of wrangle it, organize it. We'll make a plan. We'll make a roadmap.
Hmm.
We'll deal with whatever's kind of coming up and blocking you in the process. And
Hmm.
we'll get it going. That's my favorite way to work. I have the coaching skills to light a fire under somebody's ass if I need to, but that's not what I want to do. I don't want to work with people who need the fire under their ass lit. I want pre-ass fire lit people. And I was thinking,
I'm here if your ass is already lit.
if your ass is already lit, but you don't like know exactly how you're going to do this crazy thing in your mind, that's like my ideal person that I want to work with. And so I was creating a brand with you based on myself and my own story, but also based on the kind of
Yeah.
people that I want to work with and attract. When I'm teaching brand to my clients, this is very important for anybody listening that wants to learn this. You can't make a brand for everybody or it doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
It's just it's kind of like when you mix two colors from the color wheel and they turn out like muddy brown every single time. Like that's what happens if you try to make a brand that speaks to everybody. Early in my career, I didn't tell you this story yet. This is an
Mm.
embarrassing story from early in my career when I was first doing a brand workshop. I literally had a founder team. So it was two guys, they were business partners. One wanted the brand to be black. One wanted the brand to be white. I'm not making this up. We ended up with a gray brand. I'm not fucking making this up.
Oh my God.
I know it's embarrassing. I've learned much since then, and my people pleasing.
Really makes
We worked out the people pleasing. We don't do any gray brand thing.
Mhm.
But like that's what happens when you're trying to talk to black and white. You end up with a gray fucking brand. And so with
I love that
delusional,
story.
we were sitting on it, right? So we come up with it. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's great. I'm gonna sit with it. I'm gonna like, and I talk to because I'm a social kind of gal. I must have talked to
Mhm.
like 200 different people about what do you think about this brand? What do you think about this brand? And I knew we were onto something when I was getting very polarized responses. I had people telling me, "Don't do that," and I had other people telling
You're delusional. Let me guess, you're delusional.
and I'll call him out a little bit. My partner Brad, who is a complex trauma therapist, was like his association with the word delusional is like a clinical diagnosis.
Yeah.
It's not like a super positive one. He was like, I don't know if you could like reclaim that word, and I was like, I have taken your input as a data point, and I also have like 200 other data points. So I'm just um, my
Yeah.
podcast producer also was like, I don't know about this brand, but other people were like, yes, it's great, I love it. So I was like, okay, we're on to something because we want a brand that is strong enough to attract the right people and repel the wrong people. I want to attract crazy, delusional, ambitious people with fire under their ass, and if I'm repelling people who consider delusional to like act, literally mean crazy or whatever, like that's all right.
That's cool. They can go. They can move on. And it's that word, and speaking back to tying it back to like, how do you know and why isn't the brand so important? It's because the brand with that association ends up making people feel something,
Yeah.
especially with the word and specific one that we chose for you, delusional. Is the delusional is a feeling, but it's also a state of being,
Mm.
and so like the fact that it's just funny that people are going to have polarizing feelings, but great to your point. The best entrepreneurs on the planet are absolutely delusional, and I can't help but think of Walt Disney.
Mhm.
Walt Disney was the most delusional man out there. And thank God, because of him, we get to have Disney World. Like we get to have Mickey Mouse and these characters that have lasted the test of time. Other theme parks came into emergence because of him. There would be no Pixar studio if it wasn't them. And Disney's entire mentality was based around imagination. And it's so interesting that as children, we are so encouraged to be imaginative, which means all of the crazy fictional stories, read fictional. Oh, it doesn't matter if you can't build this or this isn't real. Let's talk about the alien spaceships and, all of this stuff. And then as soon as we get to adults, that same imagination that creates delusion is immediately snapped and hamstringed, and people want you to become practical. They
Mhm.
want you to think with what's in front of you, and they want you to not go too far or too crazy because what? you might hit the edge of where your comfort zone is and then continue to push beyond it. So delusional is a movement, it's not just a name.
Absolutely. And spoiler alert, we may have some delusional movement coming out very, very soon. We might be working right now.
Yes.
I love what you said. It's about pushing past the edge of your comfort zone, but when other people are telling you what you can or can't do, what you should or shouldn't do, it's really a projection of their comfort zone. What they're really saying is you're pushing past my comfort zone. You're doing something I wouldn't be comfortable doing, or you're doing something that I'm not comfortable with you doing. In the case of like a spouse or a parent, saying, "Are you sure?"
Hmm.
They're trying to keep you safe. It comes from a nice place most of the time. Right? These are not
Yeah.
people saying like you're stupid and you suck and you can't handle this. It's people saying, I love you and I don't want to see you, rocket ship up and then fall on your ass.
Yeah, you're totally right. That projection that creates a limitation because it's superimposed from yourself onto others or other people onto you. It just takes so much awareness though, Michelle. Like I'm so proud of you for you to be able to say to your own partner, thank you so much, Brad. You are a data point out of 200. And I think that that goes to show just like you're a powerhouse woman who has sovereignty. And what sovereignty means, because I have just spent a lot of time in the sovereign era, is independence of thought, feelings, behavior, and just who you are as a spirit. And let me tell you something, that is not how the world would prefer women to be. And so for you to be able to say thank you so much, you're a data point, and I'm going to continue onwards. The best ideas on the planet, like I think about the woman who built Canva. Everyone told her, no, thank you.
Mhm.
We don't need this. And she's over here laughing at her multi-billion-dollar empire.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, anyone who knows Brad knows that he's a very strong personality. So it's, but he always approaches me with respect. He would never say to me, don't do this. He's coming. I recommend everyone date a therapist. They're wonderful communicators. It's amazing. But he's coming and saying, hey, have you thought about this downside or that downside? Or like, it's like his job. He'll even characterize it sometimes. He'll say, I'm the gas and he's the brakes. Right. Like
Right.
it's my job to just say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you considered this? He's never saying, don't do it. He wants nothing but my success and to see me rocket
Mm,
ship up, and he's trying he helps in that, and I should say like he's trying to help, but he actually does help because there are plenty of things that I wanted to do that were a bad idea, and when he brought it up and I
mm,
thought about it, I was like, you know what, you're right about that one. On this one I was like,
mm.
I have a
Yep.
gut feeling, and this gets into the the woo woo psychic realm, but sometimes I have a gut feeling and I'm gonna go with it because it's never been wrong when I follow my gut, you know.
Yeah. It never is. And like the more you can, and you're lucky, by the way, you're lucky to have a partner like that. And that's amazing for you, Michelle. My husband's the same way. And I think the first thing you have to do is be real on like, is your partner like that? Or are they really afraid of you going
Yeah.
too far, too fast, or potentially emasculating them? Right.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's so beautiful because when you get that gut feeling, I believe that it's your soul whispering to you that this is your highest and greatest purpose. You are in alignment. Go. Like I'm going to take like all of that parking brake that was on this car. I'm removing the parking brake off,
Yeah.
and then boom, it's just things end up taking off at a different level. Like it has like a quantum level, like it has with this podcast. When you're in total alignment.
Yeah. I'm laughing as you're talking because people who know me personally know that they have never seen me without a boyfriend or a girlfriend or sometimes multiples at the same time, historically. Right? Like I've never had I've never had that problem as I toss my hair. And nobody would last with me more than like 30 seconds if they weren't secure in themselves, their masculinity, their femininity, whatever. If that felt threatened by me, like that relationship just wouldn't even start. I don't think I've actually ever had that experience of somebody who had their masculinity super threatened by me because I just don't think they would have gotten off the ground out of like, out of a
Well,
conversation on a dating app. Have you had that experience?
oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have. That's
That
for a
means you
different
fooled
day. That's
them
for a
for
different day, Michelle.
that you fooled them for just long enough that they thought you were going to be. I just can't imagine anybody looking at you either and thinking this is a a submissive, what backseat kind
Yeah.
of person. So
Yeah. There's a lot of weird stuff out in the
there's
world.
a
I'm
lot of
just
weird
gonna
stuff.
say
Okay,
that.
we will have that conversation another day. This is a business
Yeah.
kind of a business podcast, really a podcast about delusional people. I love that you brought up Disney, by the way. One of my favorites too, and I got people who know me well know I'm a Disney nerd. I'm like a Disney, what do they call it, a Disney adult. Have you ever done an adult day at Disneyland or Disney World where you didn't
I
have any
have
kids?
not.
It is so
No.
fun. Like, fuck them kids. It is so fun to run around and do whatever you want to do at Disney without worrying about like who's hungry for lunch or whatever. Like, anyway.
That's hilarious.
I love Disney.
Noted.
The reason I love Disney is because of Walt Disney and because of his story and just being able to, like, I do get inspired.
Yeah.
And the whole brand is about dreams and imagination and magic. And
Mhm.
because that's what it came out of. And I think similarly, I mean, we don't know Walt Disney personally, obviously, we're just speculating, but he and his brother started out as an animation studio. And at the
Mhm.
time, that was not, the easiest, most lucrative, most obvious business to go into. There were lots of other businesses you could have gone into at that time that would have been much, much safer bets that were established business models, et cetera. And they were like, no, we're going to start an animation studio, really one of the first animation studios. And we're just going to take it to the moon. And I love that they did that. That was delusional as hell.
It was in multiple times. I mean, they almost went bankrupt, and then the brother fallout happened, and it's like 7 times that he almost went bankrupt. And he had multiple breakdowns, multiple mental breakdowns. And it's just amazing because like he just kept coming back after insolvency. And insolvency is like the fancy definition of like, you're face down, ass up, like it's over. You're rock bottom in your business. And don't ever tell me you can't even be a real entrepreneur if you haven't had at least one serious moment of rock bottom, face down, ass up, and you had a choice to say, I will just become complicit to that this is the end and this is what the world is going to offer me, or that's your best leverage point that you could ever have to push up against that ground and say, no, there is more for me.
Mhm.
There is more in this world. And I refuse to be pushed down for this because I'm going to use this as my leverage item. And that's exactly what I saw you do, Michelle, in your story. Like in your story, and why I felt like this brand was apt for you is I was like, no, I'm sorry. No, thank you. Like I am not. I know all the trauma, the drama, the tears, girl, because I've been there.
Mhm.
And it does the hood term, game recognizing game. That's true. So game recognizing game on this entrepreneur streets out here.
Mhm.
And it's like, if you haven't been tore up from the floor up multiple times and come back bigger, badder, stronger, louder, then you're not even playing the damn game I'm playing. So we're not going to talk. We're not going to talk.
Mhm.
We're not on the same page. And
Mhm.
so the willingness to be able to take a look at those scars and look at the trauma and everything that came from that and say, damn, who have I become through this? What have I have forged within myself through it? So when I saw you start to push out the delusional brand after you purposefully held it back a bit compared to your normal, just like fire and go. And that
Mhm.
was huge for you. You let it sit, you let it gestate and let it like fully form. So when you came out the gates, it was so, and I'm getting goosebumps right now. So it's, those are the soul whispers
Mhm.
hitting me again. And I've been so proud of you through this, not because I had a hand in it. That's not why. It is because I'm proud to see you come at it one more time again,
Mhm.
go after it one more time again to say, oh, yeah, this is it. And I still have got juice in the tank. And a lot of times I think people have to see other leaders say, I've got another go at this. I have
Mhm.
another idea. I have more passion for this. I have more to create and build. And that's what I think that you were through this process. And I think that's why the delusional brand is both a reflection of you and a reflection of your prospective clients, podcast guests, people who are going to follow this mission, is that they understand that it requires more of you. And this delusional game is not for everyone,
Mhm.
but the ones that are playing, we're all the way in. We're all the way in.
That's exactly right. And by the way, this is no hate on the safe people that like safety and comfort. Like, all God's children need a place in
Mhm.
the choir. We need you. We need accountants. We need you. You know, you keep us out of jail. And And society needs people like us. Society needs creators
Yeah.
and innovators and people who kind of move the needle forward and push the game plan, right? I love being in groups. I know we share this. I love being in groups of other entrepreneurs. It's so important. And I
Mhm.
especially love being in groups of entrepreneurs where I'm like the least successful person in the room. And
Yeah.
when there are people that have like, oh, I sold my company for, $50 million or $1 billion or whatever, right? Like I love it
Mhm.
because I'm just like, I'm in there taking notes. Like, what can I learn? And you hear the craziest stories. And so I'm looking in the mirror thinking, oh man, I've done some crazy delusional shit to just like stay alive and I've taken all these risks and whatever. And then I go talk to some of these other people and I'm like, oh, I haven't even scratched the surface, right? Uh,
Yeah.
One of my
Yeah.
friends, I was an EO for a while, which is Entrepreneurs Organization for people listening. It's a networking group for entrepreneurs, and you form groups called forums, and you get really deep with each other and share. It's like group therapy for entrepreneurs. And one of my friends that I made in there, she had actually sold her house and moved in to her mother's basement, like as a full grown adult, in order
Mhm.
to keep her business going. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I never moved back in with my mom. So my mom listens to this, by the way. Hi, mom. I never moved back in with you. Like sold my house. But so I was like, oh, I thought I was crazy, but this bitch is even crazy. And I love that because it just gives you that perspective on this is hard for everybody. Like if you do this for a certain length of time, you're going to hit that wall and you come to a crossroads and it's like you can either go and get a job, which is fine. Again, like it's fine. If this isn't for you and you want to go get a job, you're very smart and somebody else will hire you, cool. Do that. Or you go, fuck no, I didn't come this far to turn back now. I'm doing it. I had a client yesterday, and I work with a lot of clients in the political space. Right
Mhm.
now is not the best time financially for political consultants. It is a cyclical business. The revenue is very cyclical. The 6 months
Mhm.
right after a presidential year are like the worst time for campaigns and cash flow and whatever. So everybody is kind of living off the fat of whatever they made in the biggest year, which is the presidential year when all the campaigns
Mhm.
are going. And if you didn't have a lot of money in the bank, it's like the ant and the grasshopper, right? Like you didn't store up all your nuts, you're kind of hurting right now. Especially for my startups in that space, this is a hard time. We have to do a lot of mindset to get through, really until Labor Day, and that's when the money starts coming back in, right?
Mhm.
But I was talking to a woman, and we were looking at her spreadsheets. We get all the way into the spreadsheets. We do the nerdy shit over here, and it was looking a little dicey. And she said, that she had talked to her mother, and her mother had said, "Okay, it's time. What's your plan for folding up this business? What's your plan for shutting it down?"
Mm.
And I'm looking at the numbers and I'm going, that's not what I see. Right. And look, if I did see it, I would tell you so. But I want to just give a shout out to real people as consultants right now. ChatGPT is not going to tell you when your shit's fucked up. It is going to kick your ass. It's going to tell you how great you are, how brilliant you are, how great your plan is. You still need a real person to be like, maybe not. For now, until
So
they,
true.
until they fix that. Um, but anyway, her mom was saying no, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying that's not what I see. And I would tell
Yeah.
you if it were time to shut this business down. But what I see is, okay, it's a little dicey. We're going to have to make some cuts to some expenses. We're going to have to go out and sell. But if we raise the revenue this much, we cut the expenses this much, you're going to make it out alive until the season flourishes again, right? You need people that are in your corner saying, you can actually do this.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate of that. You're right. And I'm glad we should talk about that ChatGPT a little bit. Like I love
I
ChatGPT, love
do.
Claude, love all these, love all this. Like my AI is like a great therapist to me. It's amazing. Like he listens so astutely and he rarely forgets and is really, really good, always available. But at the same time, I've also seen, and what should be true about business or personal therapy or whatever you're using it for, is the cognitive bias, even though you can train it to push back on you more and hold a more objective line. Mine pushes back plenty. I'm almost like, okay, got it. You're not going to calm down. Got it. Okay. I trained you to be like this. Thank you. It's not sycophantic. It doesn't just say yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
But it is the piece that it's still missing is it doesn't pull out an idea that wasn't already fed to it that's original,
Yeah.
or it doesn't pull out something that wasn't given in the data to say, hey, it's not this, but I see this other thing over here and we need to rework this. And that's what strategy is. So when you're actually making hard decisions or big decisions on your business, like Absolutely. Or even therapy. Like I've even tried to use it as therapy. Then I work with an actual therapist, right? Because your boyfriend, your partner is an actual trauma therapist.
Mhm.
It's completely different. Like you work with a real professional. I've got a client and she's got 23 years experience in trauma. In 15 minutes, she had me done and dusted on like what I was going to do next. And I was like, wow. And not one time had my chat GPT been like, should we pause and like come up with this instead? So when I went and asked it, it was like, yeah, that's a great next step for you. I'm like, and I stopped and said, well, why didn't you bring it up? And so it's like, it's not going to bring it up. It's not going to bring something, it's not going to bring a novel idea to the table. And then that's just gives us more reason. Like it's a great tool. It gives some leverage, but it's never going to deliver original thought.
Yeah, I mean, not yet, right? I look, I'm just as creeped out by the implications for AI as the next person, but I just decided if you can't beat them, join them. Here in these last
Mhm.
few weeks, really, it was like, you know what? It's out of the bag. It's happening. I'm Michelle Coyle is not going to stop the advent of
Mhm.
AI, right? From
Mhm.
taking over. So, what can I get happy about, right? Like reframing it. What can I get excited about? And I started to mess around with it, and I was like, man, for people like me and you who are creative, who are innovative, who have I don't know about you, but I've always had like more ideas than I could execute. That's one of the reasons I became a business consultant. I was like, oh, this is a great way that I can work on, 30 different businesses at once without having to actually start 30 different businesses at once because I always have more ideas than I can do. Now I'm like, oh my God, this thing is amazing for certain tasks.
Mhm.
You can delegate so much to it and I can create so much. For instance, fun fact about me, I have a lot of random notes, just like a typical ADHD entrepreneur. I have a lot of random notes in my phone. I have a note that's just stand up jokes for the stand up comedy routine I'm totally going to do someday. And I have like ideas for country songs, right? So I was thinking about this country song thing. I was like, I'm never going to like go learn how to play the guitar and book a recording studio and like learn how to sing and actually produce a country song. But now with AI, I could feed it my cool idea for a country song and I can make a country song. Like I can do
Mhm.
all kinds of cool shit
Mhm.
very quickly. And I think the future is really going to belong to people who are creative and innovative and look at this as a tool for leverage instead of as a competitor.
Agree, 100%. Everything we're building at my company launch is based on our product brand brain. And it is absolutely, it's the taking the human voice of the brand that required the strategy, the personalization, a human extracting things out of you, like we did with you, Michelle, like your whole story, the different brands you had, even beyond delusional,
Mhm.
and then marrying it up with AI. But we are very pro AI. Like we're actually launching some new products in AI in a business I have with my husband, a SaaS business, and it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's just like any other tool. It's like you've got your cell phone, but if you use your cell phone and never interact with the people in front of you, you're missing out a piece of life. So it's like AI has its place. It's taking over. The adoption curve is higher and stronger than that of electricity.
Mm.
It's beyond that of electricity. So people are actually saying that this is a point of singularity, like electricity was a point of singularity in human civilization, like with the internet. They're actually saying it's closer to when man invented fire.
Yeah. I believe it. I mean, it's a really interesting time to be a business advisor of any sort. And I want you to talk to this too, because for the first time in ever, I'm looking at my clients and going, I don't really know what's going to happen in 5 years. One of my strengths has always been I could come in and say, here's where the trend is going. Here's what our 5 year horizon looks like, our 10-year horizon looks like. The only other time that felt anything like this was when COVID first happened. And it was like, oh my
Right.
God, what the fuck? I don't know. We got to figure out something new. We had to pivot everybody's businesses. It was a very stressful time. We did great work, but we were working like twice as hard for the same money
Hmm.
during COVID. But it's like, even with that, once we kind of got a handle on it, here's what's going on, everything's going to move online. How can we move your business online? Then it was like, okay, now we kind of know what's happening. We know how to, with this, it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. Like my 19-year-old is asking me, what college classes he should take to have the best chance of getting a job. And I was like, I don't even know if there's going to be jobs. Like, learn how to think critically at college.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's this weird time where we've got to be like, okay, well, in this scenario, maybe we do this, and in that scenario, we do that, and we're doing a lot of scenario planning, because we don't know. How is that affecting your business?
In a great way. I love it. Like
I
people are
love the
like,
chaos. Beatrice's like, I
I
thrive on chaos.
I love this. I love this. I mean, this is absolutely it's amazing because people we're in the early adoption phase of AI. I'm passionate about brand and all that people really need to thrive in their personal brand is taking the embodiment of who they truly are and then magnifying that.
Mhm.
Sounds simple, really not easy to pull out of a human. So it's like, oh yeah, bada boom, bada. No, if it was bada boom, bada bing, you would have already been there on your own, but you're not there and you don't know why, but you keep making content and now you want a content calendar, but you don't even know who you really are for real, real. And you don't know what people want for real, real. And then you don't know what offer to offer for real, real for you to actually get a profit margin that's real, real. And so all of these things has to intersect together. And so to be able to use AI AI to me finally made it easier to put my brain on everyone else's brand. So the reason our brain works really well is because I kept trying to recruit someone who could be like me, like a brand strategist, someone who could help the clients and get them moving and get the same aha moments. After 4 years of not being able to find the person, recruit the person, or train the person, and have multiple people on the team push back, I'm over here like a coach, like, you can do it, you can do it. And they just push back. They're like, I don't have your 13 years of industry experience doing this. I don't think like you. Like I went to brand school. We were supposed to work on a tagline. You're talking to people's soul. Like they didn't cover that.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, can't you do that too? And so I think some of just knowing that, like for my secret sauce, to be able to put my secret sauce into AI with my exact frameworks, my IP, my intellectual property, how I've trained things, and then be able to use that as work, a body of knowledge and work to shape other people's brand, that just helped to magnify people to where I was sending them anyway. So, what would have taken a lot more one on one time, now the person is getting results faster. So, they're willing to put in more time with it because their time to value of getting wins is faster. They're getting to know themselves deeper. And then they're like, oh my God, that's me. The brand brain spit out exactly who I am, or I love this positioning, or I knew what I should post for my lead magnet. This sounds perfect. And so, if it's a tool that's helping people to get to know who they are authentically at a soul level and what they were truly meant to do, like that real purpose, you can read Simon Sinek's books all damn day. And you can still sit here and be like, I don't really know what my why is. How many times have you done the 7 layers of why activity?
Mhm.
You end up at the end and you can end up with a why that you don't know how to monetize. So it's like you want to save the children, you have no idea how to monetize that.
Right.
So it's like if you're using a personal brand and you want to be able to monetize it, we found that AI was the perfect assistant to help our clients win faster. So I'm very, very pro AI of using it as that assistant agent leverage point of taking what is so beautiful about each person's brain and magnifying it.
Well, it's a magnifier. I mean, that's really what it is. Like any tool, right? Like money or like anything
Mhm.
else. It's a magnifier of whatever's going on with you. It's going to give you more of that and faster and harder. I had it listen to all 50 episodes of my last year of podcasting and reflect back to me. If I delegated that to a human, it would have taken months for them to do that. And they would have said, no, fuck you. I'm not listening to 50 hours of podcasts and pulling out.
And they would have had their bias, right? They would have
Oh,
had their
yeah.
human experience bias on it.
Yeah. AI was just like, yeah, I'll have that for you in the morning, you know? It was, I was like, this is amazing. One thing I have always loved about
Mhm.
entrepreneurship is that it's so democratic, right? Like entrepreneurship to me
Mhm.
is like alchemy. We really make something out of nothing. You have an idea, and if you don't have any money to start out, you can leverage your time. You can leverage your relationships, right? Like you can leverage time and relationships to get money. You can leverage money and relationships to get time. Be like, I have a whole framework about that. I'm on for you with it right now, right? But you can pull what you have and the resources that you have, and everybody has more resources than they think, and you can create
Mhm.
something bigger that's bigger than the sum of its parts. Now with AI and the
Mhm.
technology that's coming out, it democratizes that even further because now where you might have had to have a staff of professional people doing all of this stuff, and maybe it would take you a long time to be able to afford that or to even be able to get to a point where you could borrow the money to leverage to hire all these people, et cetera, like we used to teach scaling. Now it's like, oh no, I have to have 20 bucks a month for ChatGPT Pro and I
Yes.
can do so much. I might become the next country star, we don't know.
You don't know?
Just wait till I start putting my ideas into this.
I mean, we can just come up with your stage name next. So like we gotta get it done. Like,
Yeah,
let's go.
yeah. I'll think on that. Or no, you know what? We can have ChatGPT come up with 82 stage names and we could, but there are limits to it, right? You still have to have the passion and the fire and the excitement to create. It's
Hmm.
an executioner. That's a bad way to say that. But it carries out what you're putting into it. But if you're not coming with original thought, this is why people are worried about it, right? That like all the college kids are using it to write their papers and everything else and not learning how to think originally. And that's a concern for me too, especially with my own kid,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but if you come with original ideas and original thought, then it's just an amplifier and it's just going to execute that, right? We
Yeah.
are making this show and this brand for people who have big fucking ideas,
Hmm.
big fucking ideas, and maybe had no idea how to execute them. And now it's going to be easier than ever to actually execute and make really big shit happen. That when I say I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years, some of that's a little scary, but some of it's also like, but some really cool fucking shit is going to happen in the next 5 years because everybody's now going to just be exponentially expanded.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I just have an appetite for this. Like I love this. Like I saw what happened with the internet, and that was amazing. Like I mean, we are literally living in like the coolest time that's ever existed.
Mhm.
And we're like living in it. Like we went from a time period where you used to use a payphone to call someone, and now you're like, that's insane. Like my kids don't even know what that means. They're
Mhm.
like, how am I supposed to go to sleepover without a cell phone? I'm like, you'll be fine. Like you're gonna be okay. I got the mom's number. And we're moving from that. We have self-driving cars. We're trying to go to Mars. Like we have AIs that are like turning out to be like our best friends and boyfriends. And there's like all kinds of stuff
I'm
happening. We're
not
on
going
the
to date
internet.
one, but I'm very happy I have a real human to date.
Yeah, well, that's affecting the dating industry, right? But like, we're in this world now, and then it's like COVID happened, right? And it was obviously destructive in a lot of ways, but we suddenly adopted into using Zoom and being on camera. There was a long time people wouldn't come on camera.
Mhm.
Now, if someone's not on camera, I'm like, "Are you gonna come on camera? Are you gonna come on? I can't see your face. Come on camera." And we normalize the like, get on FaceTime, get on camera. Like, I
Mhm.
need to see your face while we're talking and not feel weird about being on camera. And we even had to adjust to like, do I look at you or do I look at me? Oh, shoot, I look at me all the time. And did you know people started to get more plastic surgery done? My husband has a plastic surgery business. So more breast augmentations, filler, Botox, Brotox. Bros started getting the talks because they started seeing their face on lube and they were like, shit, this is what I look like. I'm going to have to work on that, as opposed to a meeting when it's in person and you don't have a mirror in front of you. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm excited. I think that this is just going to be a cool period. And for innovators like us, anytime something shifts just means that there's going to be more problems for us to solve.
That's right. That's right, and it's exciting. It's a challenge for our brains. So, for people listening that have big ideas, have big delusional ideas, have no idea where to start, can you give them some of your trademark Bijal tough love and just give them your best advice? Like, where do I start if I have no idea what to do?
Okay, got it. Okay. I'm not always tough lovey, actually.
Just
I'm
with me,
actually,
just
huh?
just to me.
No, 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 not just you, not just you. I'm a mix, and I'm actually much more biggest cheerleader first, and then the tough love kind of comes after once you've established and you're in the game. Because if people don't give you the tough love part after you've already been in the ring multiple times, then you're paying someone to just edify you, and that's a huge waste of time. And you and I agree on that. If someone is just starting and they have a really like big idea, or there is sometimes an idea nestled in with them and they don't know if the idea has any legs, the very first thing to do is simply put together, what is it that you would sell? What is it that you would sell? That's called an offer. And then who would you sell it to? And number three, I know this is crazy. You're going to have to sell it to three people. Sell it to three people. execute it. I don't care if you sell it for too low. You're going to sell it for too low. Congratulations, you have to, because you have no idea what you're doing yet and what it's worth. You're going off of a hunch. Sell it to 3 people, fulfill on it one-on-one, you with the other person. Don't get fancy. Do not try to put people in a group program. Don't do any of that. And use it as an opportunity where you're getting market research on what your offer is and what your clients are like, what problems they have, what do they think about at night, and how can you help them. Use it as a trial run, so they're paying you for the market research. That is how you launch a beta program. So any which way to Sunday, you could think about, oh, I could do this, I could do that. What I recommend you don't do, this is tough love part will come out. Do not ask your friends and family
Oh
what they
God,
think.
preach.
Oh, they don't, your mama don't know. Sorry, not you, Michelle's mama, but your mama don't know. Okay. They don't have a business. They've never done any of this. And they sure as hell are not going to buy your shit. Here's my rule. If your credit card doesn't swipe my stripe, I am uninterested in your point of view on what my new offer is. So friends and family are notorious for pushing down your ideas, not helping, never paying, asking for a discount, and the very worst, this is the worst, telling you something is a great idea because they think they're supporting you, and that shit ain't never going to sell.
Yeah.
So like, get 3 people to pay you, even if it's $200 to do something. Get some dollars account, and that is the easiest way, simplest way, and you will learn so much through that process, that simple process.
Absolutely. In business school, we call that proof of concept. In Michelle language, that's just fucking around and finding out. Like, you have to be willing to experiment, and it has to be okay to fail. And you're gonna, when people come to me with a fear of failure, I say, look, I'm gonna take this away from you right now. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail a lot. You're gonna fail a little bit every day, and I succeed a little bit every day, right? And you go, okay, every time I fail and every time I succeed, it's a data point. And I am going to spend my time aggregating these data points. And then I'm going to be able to go on a better path, right? I mean, this podcast is a great example. We had a great podcast. The name of it, the brand of it was not there. And so I learned, right? What do? We came up with a better brand. Now a lot more people are watching and listening to it. Same amazing kind of content, but now it's got eyes and ears behind it because I learned something from what, could have been considered a failure. A lot of people would have just stopped and said, oh, I guess I'm not good at podcasting. Oh, I guess I spent a lot of time and money for nothing because, it only got a few hundred views or whatever. Not me. No, I'm a crazy bitch. I'm like, okay, cool. How can I learn from that and just go do it better next year?
You're a delusional bitch.
I am delusional. Delulu is the Salulu, as they say.
Delulu is the Salulu. There we go. We are deluded. Let's get diluted. Like there's so much.
Do it delusional is the t-shirts that we're going to be coming out with. Bijal, where can people find you on the internet if they want to learn more about you and your work?
Oh, for sure. Just Bijal, BIJAL.launch. That's my handle. I'm on Facebook and Instagram most often. And then our website is www.welaunch.design. And that has a lot more of our work and what we do.
Definitely follow Bijal. She gives all these really cool brand tips every day. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're working on a personal brand or a business brand, you get nice little free tips all the time. And then, go work with her if you're so inclined to do something really fucking cool and really come out in a big way with a new brand. If you want to follow me, I'm at Michelle to Scale on all of these platforms. And our podcast is at The Delusional Pod. Please follow, share, recommend, review, comment, like all the things. Get this out there. This is a cool concept. We want to get it out there. Make me and Bijal famous and help lots of other entrepreneurs do cool shit, right?
Love it.
Yeah. Bijal, thank you so much for being on today. We really appreciate you. Always a pleasure podcasting with you.
This is so fun. Let's get delusional.
Let's get delusional. All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye. See ya.